care who hears. I wanna live my life to the fullest, yeah, move past all my fears. Here we come, here we are, now clap your hands with me. Say you will, say you can, so clap your hands with me. Sometimes you'll feel like you're all alone and there's nobody else around, but we're all here grooving next to you, so see all the friends you found. Ooh, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Here we come, here we are, now clap your hands with me. Say you will, say you can, clap your hands with me. Oh yeah. Come on everyone, I want to hear everybody clap your hands. All together now. Come on, I know you can do it. Say you will, say you can. So clap, 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 clap your hands with me. You gotta feel the beat deep, deep down in your bones and let your body move. Don't let anybody say you cannot, cause you know that you can groove. Shake that body left, ooh, shake that body right. Feel the beat down in your heart and let your spirit shine. All right, come on everyone. This is your last chance. So I want to hear everybody singing and wave your hands with me. Come on. Here we come, here we are. Now clap your hands with me. Say you will, say you can. Clap your hands with me. Yeah. Here we come, here we are. Now clap your hands with me. Say you will, say you can. Clap your hands with me.
Hello everyone and welcome to this random VoxEdit stream I am giving you today. Super glad for you guys to be here. So there is going to be a new VoxEdit release coming today, soon, TM, but it's coming today. But hello, you lovely people and some first-time chatters. Much love to you guys. So I'm going to be going over some of the main features that will be coming out in this VoxEdit release. I hope you guys are excited. There have been some general improvements as well, including one that I think you guys are all going to be very happy about, that there is, I'm just going to call this AB. This is the new default palette you guys all get. How excited are you for the new default palette? The new default palette. I've been telling you guys that this is going to be your new default palette for so long. But this is your new default palette. Look at it. It's so cool. So, before we get into the proper stuff here, talking about all of the fun stuff, I just really wanted to show you the new default palette. There is some news and things that I need to go through with you guys. So, first news, Captain Tsubasa Mint is live. So if you fancy getting yourself a Captain Tsubasa avatar, go have a look at that. Next thing up is the Sandbox land sale. You can sign up for the Sandbox land sale. I'm going to copy and paste this in here. Sandbox land sale. Enter the raffle. You've got 5 days to enter, to enter the raffle for some land. You obviously need to pay for the land, but there you go. Land sale, whoop whoop. Go take a look at that. Next thing is Serial's VoxEdit contest. We covered this quite a lot on the Monday VoxEdit stream, which is now uploaded as a re-upload over on YouTube, and I think I didn't put in the title that it was a re-upload, so I got to sort that. Thank you, Brain. But yeah, if you want to take part in this IP VoxEdit contest, go ahead and take a look at that. There's prizes to be won. So yeah, take a look at that, have a read through it, see if it's something that you guys fancy taking part in and winning some sand. The final bit of news is Voxel Wars applications are open again. So this is the second Voxel Wars that we are doing. Have a look through this. There are some changes from the format that we had last time, because last time was like a pilot show. This is going to be like the first proper one with 20 contestants. Originally, I was told we wanted 30. 30 is going to be too much to handle based off of the 11 that we had last time. So 20 artists, but we will have 5 backups. So if you are not selected as an actual contestant, you may be selected as a backup contestant. So be prepared to be randomly called upon for that. Filling up Voxel Wars form now. Vox Marketer, you can't! You won! The only caveat is if you had won the last one, you can't take part in this one. You won! You can't! Vox Marketer, you can't! You can't! I'm so sorry. I said this to you on the afterwards. I'm sorry. But yeah, and there's prizes. There's prizes for participating as well. So you win some sand prizes for participating. So definitely, if you do get selected, please do show up, because you will get sand. And if you don't show up, you won't get the sand because you didn't participate. And the final thing is, Fun Guys bridged avatars. So the Fun Guys, which is a profile picture NFT, words have left my brain. They have now been bridged over, so if you own one of those NFTs, you can now run around the sandbox in your Fun Guys avatar. And I have mine that I can quickly show you so you can see. Just give me one moment. So if we hop over to avatars, here we go. So there it is. Here's my little guy. He looks a little bit sad, but I like him. He's got more of a cheeky face on the profile picture. He just kind of looks a little sad here. But that's okay. I don't mind my sad little fun guy. But yeah, they've been bridged over. I believe that happened on Friday. So if you own a Fun Guys NFT, you can now play I Love Your Dance Fight avatar. Honestly, it's so cool. Oh wait, my dance fight? My dance fight's cool, but so's my Agoria. I prefer my nighttime Agoria. But yeah, my dance fight's pretty cool. Also, my personal avatar, which is Panda Pops, Casual Panda Pops, is pretty cool too. And so's my demigod of rock. I actually really like that one, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the VoxEdit update. VoxEdit contest, Dan Coy. Yes, there is a VoxEdit contest. It's the Serials IP VoxEdit contest, as well as the Voxel Wars. No dates have been said about when the Voxel Wars show will be. With 14-year-old groups, can I make submission with your KYC to them? Oh, no. So sorry, I just saw a part of what you said, so I apologize. It's actually in our rules for VoxEdit contests that you are required to be 18 years old, and that's for all of our contests. All of our contests actually state that you need to be over 18 years old to take part. That includes game jams and stuff. So no, you can't use your KYC for your students, unfortunately. I believe there's like some legal rules around that. I might have a few meetings to see, like, can we do a kid-friendly contest? That's actually a really good idea. Thank you, Dan Coy, because I think that's a really good idea. I should really inquire about that, so thank you. Same as your students. Yes, but Vox Machina, if any of yours are under 18, they technically shouldn't be entering our contests. That's all I'm saying. But they're not. But they're not 14 years old. There we go. Yeah. So let's get into the new features. So as well as just some general updates, and there will be a video to come, so you guys can look over that video. So one of the general updates is the palette. We now have a new default palette. Another thing that we have is we can replace our default palette. Now, we may be changing where this is because it's a little bit confusing to users. So if we do go to replace default palette and I select new colors, and now I've selected it, but as you can see, it didn't change this palette, and it's not going to. It's not going to change the palette of the model that you are on, but any new model that you make, so let's call this AC, any new model that you make will use that new default palette and all models after that, okay? And that's for new assets as well. If you go and create a new asset, that change goes over there as well. So this is a new default palette set across everything that you create for every model opened after the change, okay? So that's how that works. Just in case you're wondering, the reason why we're thinking about moving it is because it is a little confusing that you change the default palette, but it doesn't change while you're in the one that you are currently in. So we understand that that's a little bit confusing, which is why I'm here to explain it to you. And the same is revert to default palette. So that will be reverting back to the Sandbox default palette. And if I click that, it doesn't change it here, but every model I open afterwards will have that default palette. Does everybody understand? Okay? Do you guys all understand that little bit of information? Because I'm here to make sure you guys understand everything that I'm saying. And if you don't, if you need me to repeat myself, if you need me to talk slower, please tell me to. Marshall, hello. In fact, I didn't even say hello to you guys. I just jumped into everything. So the first person speaking was Medi. Sparky, hello. I see you there. Escape Room Artist. Dollarpay, hello. And then we had two first-time chatters. AF Sauk. Sorry, can't say your name. With the little Fall Guys winning thing. That was cool. And Perux Elf. Sorry again. Sparky, I see you. VVox, I see you. Jankoy, Vox Machina, I see you there. Go West, Wicked you too. Sliverkai, hello. Mosquito, Bert Z, VVox again, Vox Machina again, Dankoy a lot. Marshall and Garnigan, and Go West again. There we go. I'm fully caught up with you guys. Right. So I will go over this one more time. So I'm going to just exit this, and I'm going to delete AC and AB. So we're going to do new VXM, and we're going to call this we're going to call it 3A, because I know nothing's called 3A. This is our new default palette. You can now make your own default palette. So you would go into the menu, replace default palette. So this will replace it, but it won't replace it in this model, which is the little confusing thing. So we click replace. You will find wherever you've saved the palette of your choice, wherever you have created a palette of your choice, we do new colors. That's what I'm calling it. And I click OK. Now it doesn't change it here, and we're aware it doesn't change it here. You need to leave, and every model you open after the change, that new palette will be applied to. And this is across, like if you leave this asset and you start creating a new asset, that new default palette will be applied to all of those models until you change it. So we go to new, and we'll call this 3B. And now we have that new default palette here. And once again, to change it back, we go revert default palette, and you will see those changes for every model you open after you have selected the change. Can we add the previous palette to the continuation of the new palette? So append is not there anymore, so no. If you would like, by continuation, I'm assuming you mean how we've got these few that are just black. Obviously, you can add your own colors to this and then save it as a new palette. So you could, you know, put a red there and a green there and a yellowy orange there and a dark blue. And then you go save, and you would save it, and then you would replace that default palette with that one. So you can't, we're not doing append, and the reason append got taken away was because of how the shared palettes work and how they need all of these to be there, and the way the shared palettes work, you couldn't have append work properly with the shared palettes. So that's why we don't have append anymore. Right, let's leave that. So the next thing I'm going to show you is, first I need to add the fish. Oh, the fish is huge. I did not realize how tiny I made this. Aww. Okay, can I just size you down? There we go. Right, okay, we got a tiny little fish. There we go. But yes, I am aware some people do miss the append, but it can't work with how shared palettes work. And if you're wondering how to use the shared palettes, there is a VoxEdit quick tip and a video somewhere. I'll find it for you in a little bit. Right, so there's a little fish. So one of the other things that we have is now a new way to see face and nodes. So when we click on a particular asset, in this top corner, and I really wish I had a thing right now to zoom right in, but in this top corner, it will say how many faces out of the total amount of faces and how many nodes you've got selected. So if I selected 2, it will calculate, okay, you've got 2 nodes, and these 2 nodes have 231 faces total out of the 802 that we have. And this will just help you sort of find where those problem areas can be. The team is aware, because I never noticed this when you hover over, it gives you the suggested limit. 125 nodes hasn't been the suggested limit in over a year, like way over a year now. So they are going to be updating that. That's being updated. It is 175. 175 is the suggested optimized max amount. But this will obviously help you find the problem areas of where you might need to reduce faces and nodes for optimization reasons. So just remember that for optimization, we do recommend a maximum of 5,000 faces and a maximum of 175 nodes. Obviously, you are free to exceed these, but just know it goes against our optimization guidelines. And I would also like to just say, yes, people have made assets with way more nodes and quite a lot more faces, and those assets have been fine, and it's usually because there's only one asset in that experience that has that large amount. And that could be fine for high-end PCs and stuff like that. But for the lower-end specs, people may struggle to play your experiences because you've got those assets that go above optimization. My personal recommendation is always try to keep within our recommendations, and if you do want to go over the recommendation, limit it to just a few that go over those optimization guidelines within an experience, just so you can make sure that your experience is as optimized as possible for anybody playing your game. So yeah, this is just a nice little way for you to be able to see those. The other thing, and I am just gonna turn this that bit off, which is now the bounding. Like you used to be able to see like all of the bounding boxes when you rotated over, and the gizmo would also stay when you rotated. So they've cleaned this up. They've made it a much cleaner way for you to sort of look around your assets. So the only box that stays is the box that the asset is in. There have been talks about removing that box. For me personally, I think it's a good idea to keep the box because as you're rotating around it, you could be seeing, okay, this is where I could reduce that collision. And so you actually get to see where that collision box is, but I don't need to be seeing all the other boxes as I rotate around. But the box around the asset you are selected on, I think is important. Seeing the gizmo and all of the other bounding boxes aren't important. And so yeah, they've just cleaned it up for you guys. Okay, the next bit. I do have a video for you guys, but I have been rushing through this quite a lot. So does anybody have any questions? Or if you would like to give some of your suggestions of features that you would like to see, please do let us know. I want to say I made a survey, but I can't remember. You have a question? Of course, last year trier. Please, anybody who has questions, please put them in, and I will try my hardest to answer them. Sometimes I see assets that have very detailed symbols or glyphs. I use the edges of voxels to make some carvings, or for example, the mouth and thin eyebrows. Yep, great way to do that. But the ones I've seen have details as if they were drawn. Okay, do they use another software like Blender or maybe Magic Voxel? So the thing is, if you are seeing them within the Sandbox, for them to be able to get it into the Sandbox game, they actually have to put it through VoxEdit first. So even if they use something like Blender or Magic Voxel, they still have to have it imported into VoxEdit, and they would still have to make changes and make sure it works. I would like to see, do you have a link for one that you've seen? Because some of these could just be extra large assets. They could be extra large assets, and they've it looks like it's drawn that way purely because it's such a large asset that you can't really tell that it's so big. Is rotation fixed for Max users? I gotta check. Just 1 second. Some days ago, saw a Japanese sword whittle a little sign on the handle. Oh, sword was a normal size sword. Okay, interesting. Last year trier. So I don't know what they would have used, because I'm wondering, did you actually see it in game? That's what I'm wondering, because they could be using like light tracer or something like that to do like some little tricks to make it look like it's something that it isn't in game. Lots of people have done that before, make things look like water and things like that, just to give an additional effect, but actually in game it's not quite like that. So if you can find whatever it is that you saw at any point, you are free to DM me. Please feel free to DM me. The point of a cube, yeah, like the very, very tip of the cube, you definitely could. But that would be a lot. And I'm not going to do it here because we're not doing tutorial stuff that are rotated diagonally. Yeah, I mean, it could be all of those. I would just like to see it with my eyes because it's hard for me to think about what they could have done. It would be a very tedious job if it was just the very, very tip of a voxel cube numerous times over. But yeah, Sparky and VVox are correct. That could be the way they've done it. Another way could be tricks with light tracer, things like that. So I'm curious to see what it is that you saw. So please feel free to reach out to me with a video or whatever, a tweet, however you saw it. Please feel free to let me know and I'll have a look and I'll try and figure out myself how they did it, and maybe next Monday we'll give it a go on stream. To some extent, if it's as tedious as tiny little corners of cubes, I might have to make a little bit beforehand and then do a tiny bit on stream. But let's go to the main feature. And there's a little video for you guys to have a look at. And I don't know how loud the sound is, so I apologize. Okay, sorry, I let that loop a little bit too long. So, the time slider has some new updates. And you would have seen from that, and I'm hoping I'm not going to bore you too much with trying to do some animation. But we're going to focus on the fish itself. Actually, I feel like I've done the wrong kind of thing because I don't need the rocks to move. I should have... Okay, we'll add another fish. We're adding a fish. We've got 2 fishes. Okay. So, we've got 2 fishes, and there we go. I'm going to make a quick fish node. Create child node, fish node, and then I'm going to put the fish in the fish node. Right, great. So, what we're going to do is, in this huge bit of water that I definitely planned for it to be this big, I definitely didn't think it was much larger than this. I really need to expand it. Oh. Okay. Just so it has a little bit more room. Ignore these little side bits. There we go. Lovely. Cool. Oh, you know what? I can just make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. Lovely. Right. There's enough room in there. Oh, no, okay, that's happening. Right. This little fish. Gonna have him swim forward. And this little fish is going to rotate. So what you will see... Oh, whoops, I did not click the right thing. This little fish is going to rotate. So what you can see is there is now a keyframe at the top here. You're on the wrong keyframe. I am not. Well, for these bits, yes. For all of this. But that's fine because I can now show you this new thing, which is these rocks. I'm on here. Oh no. I am on the wrong thing. I have to do them individually. So these rocks I can now grab and I can move over here. Copy and paste it. Nope, never mind. Ignore that. I just did it all wrong. Don't worry about it. We're just going to do the animation from this point. This is just where we're doing the animation from. So we've got the fish, and the fish is moving. Ah-dee-da, fish is moving. Ah-dee-da. This fish. And we go to the fish node. And then we'll have the fish just both sync. You can tell I have definitely practiced with this. There we go. Lovely. Right. So, I'm going to explain this really, really badly now. Don't worry, I've got a video that explains it so much better. Right, so this section that I'm drawing the selection bar in, the area is called the time slider. So this section here is the time slider. We can now draw. I'm doing great. As it all messed up because I did the rocks wrong and I realized that I should have been on something different. But now, time slider. Yes, time slider. So we draw the selection box inside of the time slider and you can now collapse or expand so you can grab more keyframes. From here, you can also click and drag within the middle, so any that are grouped together, so you can expand and group them together. So these are all the ones that are in the top bar, so the little white lines. If I want to move just the individual fish, I would grab it here and move it along. What you can do as well is you can multi-select. So if I wanted to move everything, I would select everything here, and then I will, this is what I was trying to do, get all the rocks that way. And then you can move all of these along. So things like if you've done an animation and the fish is moving too quickly, I've made the fish swim too quickly, you can do it with the timeline collapsed, and you can hold control, click in the time slider, and create your selection box, and then you can move them along. You can collapse it, move it along, collapse it, move it along, collapse, and move along until you've got the desired effect for a desired length of your animation. I apologize for not showing this correctly, and I might go back to the fish that I originally did over here. So we've got, in this section, the bowl moves and the fish does a little dance. You're also very easily able to just highlight, do a copy, so Control C, move this along and do Control V and paste all of that. So you can paste it all. So when you've got those bigger projects and you're like, okay, I want to repeat that exact same animation again, instead of having to do Control and select going down everything, you can now just use the selection bar within the time slider, Control and paste. Also, when you do select from the 0 keyframe, so when you do select from the 0 keyframe, because there always needs to be a keyframe within the 0-second mark, it will automatically copy that keyframe. So you can move that 0 keyframe along as well, because it'll always keep that keyframe there. I am now going to delete all animation and see about putting these rocks in the correct place. I am still, oh wait, so I have been told they're unsure what issue with Mac rotation, VoxMachina. So have you reported this issue? Has it been put in the feedback log? Please make sure if you are encountering issues, either make a ticket within the Sandbox VoxEdit section of Discord, or you are filling out that feedback form so the team is able to QA that as quick as possible. Thanks, VoxMachina. And please do make a ticket and put it in the Discord so I'm able to show that issue. So, let's do this properly. We got a little fishy. This little fishy is like swim, swim, swim. And, oh, did I not delete the fish node? That's why. Silly. Silly fish node. Okay, no fish swimming. So fishes are swimming together. They then jump up. Oh, go back to the fish node, thank you. No. They then jump up. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, and let's get this and paste that final keyframe. So bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, they sit there for too long. Bloop. Okay, this is too long. Let's do that. There we go. See, look at those dancing fish. Is it raining? The way to edit voxel opacity in VoxEdit, like the blocks, no, and that most likely will never happen, and it's because of the way that faces are counted within VoxEdit. So if I'm in here and we just have a 1 by 1 by 1, that is counting it as 4 faces, which is no issue because, you know, it's like that. But if we have a 2 by 2 by 2, and it has opacity on it, then it is counting 4, 8. Oh, I've already forgotten how to count. It's counting every voxel as 4 faces. So 4, oops. So 4, 8, 12, 16. I know 24. 24. Why? Why am I so silly? It's 24. It's counting 24 faces. Once again, not a big deal when it's small, but as soon as it gets larger, that's where it has an issue. So yeah, there's not gonna be any sort of opacity in the VoxEdit like there is on GameMaker. So that's one reason why we strongly suggest when you are making buildings and things like that, that you try to stick to general terrain-sized meter blocks. So if you make a building and you want to put a glass window in there with some form of opacity, but still have it kind of, you know, still look like a window without it just being a painted window in VoxEdit, then make sure that you are leaving the gap of a terrain block to go inside of the windows. So always leave 32s. So 1 meter is 32. Terrain blocks are 32. So always leave multiples of 32s. So you can place those blocks inside. So yeah, what we would do then is, for this, we can highlight over here and we can drag, we can copy, oh wait, yep, we can copy, move over here and paste. They do it again. I was only selected on one. That's still too... In fact, can we just delete that one? Yeah, that's much smoother. I mean, fish don't actually act that way, but sure, there we go. So yeah, that's how the time slider keyframe section works. So you can be selected on absolutely everything, and it will show you all of the keyframes there if you want to do selections here. I generally like to keep the timeline open just so I can be doubly sure what I'm selected on. But there's no more like scrolling all the way down to highlight everything to copy and paste. You're able to easily move group selections along, as well as collapsing and moving, which I think is going to be really helpful for those animations where you've created it. And a lot of the times I create my animations to be too quick. Because I always have my zoom area just like right down. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm filling all this in. And really the animation's like 1.5 seconds long and they're like speed walking. I was like, oh yeah, I don't need them to be walking that quick. So it's a bit annoying to have to try and move stuff individually and get it all ordered, where I could just be like, okay, here we go. We got these two. Let's highlight and move. And then drag it, move it along, collapse it some more and move it along again. Right, does anybody have any questions that they wish to ask about the new features that I have gone over today in this stream? And I will go over the earlier ones that we mentioned. So the first one I'm going to go over, which is the face and node count. Up in the top corner, we still have the face and node count like we always do. However, now, when you are selected on a particular asset, or you can group multiple assets, it will now show you the amount of faces out of the total faces within that asset. So it will show you that model's faces, or if you're on multiple, those combined multiples out of the total. So you can find those problem areas if you need to reduce that face count. But that's super useful. And once again, if you are holding over the node count and you see the suggested limit being 125 nodes, that is incorrect. They are putting a change in for that because the suggested limit is 175 nodes. So that is getting fixed and updated. Of course, please stay below 5,000 faces. Please, please, please. Please! Gizmo. So when you are selected on an asset and you are rotating around it or zooming in or doing whatever you need to do, the gizmo disappears and the bounding boxes around everything will disappear other than the bounding box of the asset you are selected on. If you are not selected on anything, if you've just clicked in the workspace, then no boxes appear because you're not selected on anything. Bloop, bloop. So it makes a cleaner experience for you guys. The other thing is the ability now for you guys to set a new default palette. Please do keep in mind that when you do set a default palette or revert back to our default palette, that the changes are not made within that model. The changes are made in every model you open after making that selection. And we do have the new updated default palette. So you guys have a more usable default palette. And I think I selected, yeah, revert back to default palette, just so you guys that have come in here later. This is the new default palette. You will have seen it in such streams as mine, and most likely Alex's as well. So yes, there is that. If you have any VoxEdit or just Sandbox related questions, please ask them right now while I drink a drink and wait on bated breath for your questions. Is the update live? It will be live in about an hour. And website may need refreshing or cache clearing if users still can't download it after an hour's time. Which is good because I have... there will be a tweet on VoxEdit going out roughly at the time that the update is going live. And as soon as I see that the update has gone live, I myself will also make a Discord announcement in the VoxEdit section. And if you haven't already, please do go over to the Sandbox Discord, and in the VoxEdit hints and tips, our lovely, amazing, I'm gonna double check what they go as in there, just so I can make sure I don't say any names that I shouldn't. Our amazing Big Vox Bear has actually uploaded a video to do with inverse kinematics. You should find it somewhat helpful. There are still many new things to come with IK, but this should help you at least a little bit understand with the current state of IK. So please do go check that out. It is in the hints and tips on the VoxEdit channel. So VoxEdit hints and tips in the Sandbox Discord. Do go check that out. Any other questions? Any questions? But yes, update will be going out within roughly 60 minutes. They did give a slightly earlier date, but they said between this and 60 minutes. So check again in 60 minutes for the update. If you can't see it after 60 minutes from me doing this stream, then please do make sure to do a hard refresh and clear those cache and cookies if you need to. No one has any questions? Or one? And I do apologize. In fact, I'm just going to give you that video again because that video is helpful for you to see what you can do with the keyframe time slider. Time slider keyframes. There you go. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. That video will also be going up on our Twitter, VoxEdit Twitter, roughly at the same time the announcement, well, not even roughly, at the same time as the announcement of the new VoxEdit update. But I do want to apologize because I had set this up and I didn't realize how small the fish were, and I got all kerfuffled for a moment. But hopefully you guys fully understood what I was talking about. But there is a video. There will be a video. I don't know if the video has gone live yet. Is it in our Nope, that's the old features one. September update features. There you go. It's in there. It's also meant to be on the homepage. But this is not the live version, so I don't know if it has gone on there. But yeah, and also do make sure to go have a look at these tutorials. I don't know how many of you new users know to go look at these tutorials. Please do. Not only is there some just like a basic tutorials sort of welcoming you to VoxEdit and giving you like the basic rundown, there's some more sort of more nuanced ones. So how to create a simple chest, how to create a chair without collisions, how to make a simple and complex tables. So the difference between a simple and complex asset, how to build a complex entity bed, how to build a rig, which it also goes into how to create a simple chest because they flow with one another. How to use workspaces. One of those needs deleting. Why are they both there? I thought I removed one. Maybe it's because this hasn't been updated. Gonna have to give this a tidy up. Maybe new features needs a better thumbnail for that. But yes, hopefully you guys enjoy these. There should also, as always, be the changelog there because there's other improvements that I haven't mentioned. So do have a look at that changelog because I can't go over absolutely everything. I've just gone over the main features, plus mentioning that we have the new default palette because I know so many of you, as the same as me, was getting so sick and tired of just that unusable palette that was always given with every time you opened up a new model. It was a very unusable palette. So I'm glad that we now have a more usable palette that is shared across with all of you. So yay! Thank you guys for being here. Final moment for you guys to ask any questions. Any questions at all. Anything? 5, 4, 3. Thanks for the stream. Awesome update. Thank you, Garnican. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Appreciate you guys. So I will... What day is it? It's Wednesday. I will see you guys tomorrow. So as always, have a good morning, afternoon, evening. Let's go to Big Panda. As always, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the metaverse. Goodbye.